Like, how did it mess up like that? That's what I set it to. It's a machine. I push the button, it goes in. Nothing bad's supposed to happen.
I'm gonna get the... God damn it!
This is my dad, Tommy.
This is my son, Ryan.
And earlier this month, Lincoln Street Woodworks put out a video where he challenged his boomer neighbor to a build-off, and I was so inspired by it that I decided to challenge my boomer dad to a build-off. And I know just the thing to build. This here is my grandma's kitchen table where she raised 11 kids, including my dad. Imagine every single night, all these kids sitting here just picking apart food, right? Well, unfortunately, about 5 years ago, she passed away, and there really wasn't a home for this table. At the time, I was building this shop, and we actually decided to specifically build our kitchen and break room to house this table to bring it new life. And over the years, the seating has taken a lot of wear and tear. So for today's build battle, we're each gonna be making one 4-foot bench.
And we're not gonna be using any of that fancy stuff like that CNC you have.
In order to pay tribute to my grandma, since she was a quilter and quilted everything out of different pieces of scrap, we can only make these benches using scrap wood that's lying around our shops. We're not gonna really set a time limit. We're gonna give ourselves about...
Since you're not using all your fancy equipment, I'll give you 3 days.
3 days to build this. Now the winner will be decided by you. Please leave a comment down below on who you thought did a better job. And the loser has to wear this chicken hat on our next build battle the entire time. So if you want to see me and or Pops over here in our next build battle, wear that hat, your vote will determine it. Let's get right into it, baby.
Well, Ryan thinks he's gonna beat me. What? He done stole all my clamps. That Ryan. Well, I'm going to the shop to go get some clamps. My game plan is to see what kind of scraps I have here in the shop to see what type of bench I can make. This used to be Ryan's shop right here before we moved to the new place. And so everything that's here is what he left. So what we need to do is just see what we have, see what we can use, see what we can't use. So I think we got plenty of scraps. We just have to figure out how we're gonna do our bench. And if plan A doesn't work, we'll go to plan B, whatever that'll be. What I'm doing now, I put a backstop. I'm gonna cut them to length, and then I'll take them to the table saw, and I'll cut them to however thick I need them. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep them doggies moving, raw-ho. Don't try to understand them, just rope them, throw them, brand them. Okay, what we're gonna do, we have 48 inches here. We're gonna take them and glue 16 inches at a time. You gotta hold your tongue just right. Then you can get this and pick this up, but don't work for me. Now we're gonna separate the colors. We have some of the colors that are too close, some of them are farther away. I'll move this one here. Once you do this a time or two and you use that nice glue up that he has, and you think, oh, it ain't worth it, it ain't worth it. Once you use it, it's worth it, buddy. It just goes on, they just go on so easy. You don't have to sit there and try to spread the glue out like I have to do.
Yeah, you ever get sick of the chickens?
No. The guineas, yes. Chickens, no. Mating season, they'll sit there and make noise till no end. Drive you bonkers. Stop!
In a nutshell, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build this basic bench. I'm doing 45-degree edges. And I'm gonna do like a quilt pattern on it. Just like my grandma taught me, use different shapes to form a quilt pattern. So pretty much we have 2 different sizes. We have this one, which is a little over about 9/16. This one's about 5/8. So I'm gonna run all these through the wide belt sander to calibrate them to get them all about the same thickness. That way, whenever I make my bench, I don't have too many gaps in there. I'm using somebody, my dad may or may not. I totally am. Knock me a point or two if Dad doesn't use anybody. I understand. I wanna see if Anthony can handle this many. That's gonna be the fun part on the other side.
This is one of the quilts that my mom had made, Ryan's grandma that he was talking about. She used my dad's ties that he had. He had passed away 36 years ago, but on here it says The Guy Wall Hanger by Catherine Drapella. I kept my husband's ties after his death. I only wanted to use his ties. He didn't wear a lot of ties. His mother made him 2 wide ones, and I wanted to use them too. After 22 years, I was about to give up when a member of the El Campo group showed me a new quilter book she had just bought. I paged through it and found the pattern I've been looking for. It took many hours of ripping, cleaning, pressing, cutting, sewing, and adjusting the pattern to material on hand. I opted to use the shirt bottoms, the quilt, rather than hand quilting it. It was a work of love and remembering, and these are just the ties that he had that she put together after cutting them all out.
So what I gotta do now is do a layout and see if this is enough scrap to glue up a bench. Even though this seems tedious, like yes, we could use a giant piece of red oak or a piece of plywood or something like that to make the base that we're gonna build the quilt on. But this is what Grandma did with her quilts, right? She never had a full piece of fabric. She was like literally scrapping together stuff when she could have easily went to the store and bought a full spread. She never did. We're about to have to glue up this thing. I'm gonna try to do it in one fell swoop. I got about 100 pieces to glue up. I'm using Titebond too, so I gotta go really quickly because if I don't, all the glue's gonna dry to itself. So I'm gonna use my glue clamp and hopefully I can get everything done in a very quick, timely manner. I'm just gonna literally glue, lay board, glue, lay board, glue, lay board. Wish I had like a Fitbit on or something to see how many steps I can get in. My dad's probably doing this a much, much easier way because he's smarter and wiser and much older and has maybe slightly less energy than me. But who's to say? Maybe he's doing it a hard way too. I should have stuck some 2x4s or something on this edge. That way, whenever I glue it up, it's consistent pressure. Since these are so thin, if you come look, it puts like little bows in all these gaps. Didn't quite go as planned, but it's okay because this is just like a building block to put all of the layering that I actually want to do on it. So not a big deal if this ain't perfect. We use a planer and some saws to get it all straight, and then we'll be good to go. Very curious to see what my pops is doing. Probably not doing it this way.
God dog it! Do that all the time.
You all right?
I got the old man skin. Now I'm gonna bleed right there.
Old man skin.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
When I turned old. We glued this up a while ago, and I believe the glue's dry enough because it's almost dry before we got to clamp it. So we're gonna take the clamps off. We're gonna run them through the planer, flatten these things out.
Is Plan A still in effect?
Plan A is still going so far. So far. That table that we're making these for, that was a table that we had made when I was about 10 or 11. And after Mom passed away and we had to clean the kitchen out, you know, who wants the table? It's so big, nobody really wanted it. Ryan wanted it, but my brothers and sisters said, no, you already have enough, you don't need it. So my little sister Margie took the table and then told Ryan to come get it. But after I went and got the table, when I flipped it over, It had my initials on it already. I guess when I was 10 or 11, I got volunteered. I had to stain the table and put a clear coat on the legs. And I didn't know that at the time. I wrote my initials on it. Besides, that's the same side that I always sat on too when we had lunch or dinner. But when I picked that table up and flipped it, saw my initials on there, I knew it's supposed to have been mine. But I remember helping putting it in the back of the truck, back of Daddy's pickup, and hauling it to the house and helping carry it in. And like I said, I was just a little fella at the time. Alrighty, I like it. I got glue coming out. That means I should have enough glue in there. I'm gonna go in the house, cool off, get me another glass of iced tea, and...
You think you're gonna beat Ryan?
Oh, ain't no figuring to it. Ryan ain't got nothing on his old man except new equipment. And new equipment don't make pretty furniture. It's experience and know-how. I don't know how.
So we got this piece planed down. This is gonna be my base where I'm gonna start building my quilt pattern on top of. So the next stage is putting those tiny pieces that I'm about to cut on there to start forming like that quilt pattern look. I usually don't have this big set plan as I'm building stuff. It's a lot of scrap walnut. This is our 5/8 scrap that we have at the shop. We got quite a bit of it, and so this is what I'm getting together now. So I'm just gonna probably do walnut, maple, and red oak, because that's what I have a lot of here. All the walnut is different heights, all the red oak is different heights. So I'm just trying to make everything as uniform as possible. So all of my wood is now cut. It's 1.5 inches wide and 3/4 inch thick. And so what I have to do now is I'm gonna make a jig on the miter saw and start cutting out all my little triangles. So the whole entire top of the bench is gonna be these tiny triangles, right? And they're gonna match up, and we're gonna start making like a quilted pattern on top, which I'm super excited about. So it should take about 564 of these triangles to make the top of the bench. So I got a lot of cutting to do. I can only do them one at a time. And it should be very good, and Dad should be super jelly when he sees all this. He's gonna be like, dang, wish I would have thought of that. He's not a chip off the old block, you know, he's better than me, you know. I'm gonna ride around in style and drive everybody wild, 'cause I'll have the only one there is around. Johnny Cash, one piece at a time. He builds the car, the Cadillac. Well, it's a 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95. You never heard that? Okay, well.
Good afternoon. It is hot down here in Texas. It's been getting over 100 the last 3 or 4 days. So let's go ahead and get started so we can get this thing over with and get in the cool. I want to put an edge on these sides right here, and I went and cut a sample piece. And you can see that'll fit on the side. Let's go back and get finished cutting these out. It'll fit on the side just like that. We'll glue it, clamp it, and we'll have this part finished. This is the seat that we had yesterday. It's all pretty right now. So what we need to do, we need to straighten the sides out. And to do that, I have a straight edge that I'm gonna put on one side, and we'll cut this piece. Turn this bad boy around. Make a line where I'm gonna cut it at. Hey, it fits! That don't happen very often. You can never have too many clamps on something. 14 and a gazenta.
Gazenta.
A gazenta, yes. This is going to be the leg, or the side of the leg that's going to go in here, like that. And what we're going to do, we're going to dado a slot in the middle. I want to make one cut on each board. I have a spacer. Then I'll put the spacer in. I'll make another cut, add a spacer, make another cut, add a spacer.
I have my red oak triangles, my walnut triangles, and some of my maple. I wanted to start laying out this design a little bit. Red oak is gonna be my base color, and then my accents are gonna be walnut and maple. So I'm just gonna figure out the design for a little square, and then we'll make about 5 squares total to cover this whole entire thing, and then it'll look like a quilt. So I was pretty close to my grandma, but I think everybody was close to grandma. She was just that kind of person where if you met her, she would listen very patiently, which is not like me and my family whatsoever. You just felt like you were close to her, right? She was just that kind of person. She was just a good soul. You know, I think grandma really found her home whenever she was quilting like this. And I can definitely see how doing this thing piece by piece and having patience when you do it is like so crucial. And I think that's where she found a lot of her calmness, because this piece, like just this one, like just screwed up just a little bit. You can't get too mad. You know, you just gotta slowly just do these things and give yourself a little bit of grace, right? And she always said the similarities between woodworking and quilting is it's so similar. You get started and you have just a whole bunch of random pieces of wood, and then you have to piece them together to make a project. Whatever that project is, right? You still have to piece it together to make a project, and that's pretty cool. So I'm really enjoying doing this because it's not about making this, it's about making it in the way that she would have made it. So I just finished up the top of this. I'm gonna wait for the glue to dry a little bit, then we're gonna send it through the wide belt sander to smooth off the top. Hopefully this quilt pattern pops out a little bit more after we sand it down. Right now it looks like a lot of clutter. Good. We usually don't have stuff this long. It's usually short pieces in our shop. That was us messing up one side of the whole thing. It's gonna be pretty messed up when I take this out, not gonna lie. Oh my gosh, I hate stuff so bad. A little silent right now because I'm a little bit pissed. Like, how did it mess up like that? That's what I set it to. It's a machine. I push the button, it goes in. Nothing bad's supposed to happen. So, this caliper. I zero it out. Watch this. Watch this. I go out. I go to about 1.5, which is already messed up. I'm done with all digital calipers. Ever, ever, ever. I will never use a digital caliper again.
I'm back.
Is woodworking relaxing to you?
Sometimes.
What do they say? Work smarter, not harder?
I don't have the fancy gauges like Ryan has on his machine. So this is just a touch and go one. I'll tighten it up a couple of turns so that the belts that they catch will turn it on. I'm gonna get the, God damn it! I'm gonna get the dust collector on it.
That scared me. I thought you were going down.
Almost did.
So if y'all y'all have ever built projects and they're major projects that you really care about, just know that the woodworking fairy is gonna come in and screw it up so you learn. Every single project I've ever made, even now, they come in and they kick it and they mess it up somehow and you go, ah, and you become a little bit better woodworker every single time. My dad, he's a woodworking genius. He's old, he's had lots of experience. This young guy, still learning, still angry, just a little hothead. Just a little bit angry. So after I put on this edge, we are finished up with day 2. Day 3, we're going to cut the legs, glue it all together and make it into a bench, put a little nice finish on it. And hopefully I can come together with Dad and he'll be finished up and we can see who did a better job so he can wear the chicken hat and not me.
You enjoy the finishing process?
Sometimes you get to see all the little details when you're sanding and see what needs to be fixed. You know, some people don't see it, but when you sand, you see every little thing that's there. And you know that, you know, as a woodworker, oh, we need to get that out of there. That doesn't belong. I think Ryan's gonna have a good project. He's got a good head. He thinks, he looks on the internet quite a bit. This is something that I haven't looked on the internet. I just thought of as we went along. I've been doing woodworking since I was in high school. I used to do it, but I didn't have all this nice equipment. It's usually a hammer, a saw, and nails that weren't the right size. But now that Ryan got into it, he gave us some good equipment and it's just fun to do. I did a lot of whittling when I was in high school and it just evolved from there. Just read and try to do us good. All right, finally done. All we need is a finish on it. What'll that be? A little more sanding, a finish, and watching Ryan wear a chicken hat.
So guys, it's day 3. As you can see, we got these sides on in day 2. Most of day 3 has just been consisting of sanding and trying to get these finishing touches, filling all those little cracks with different types of super glue and epoxy and wood filler, stuff like that. It's starting to come together. I really like the look of it. The next step is just to cut these legs out, put them on. At this point, Grandma's pretty proud of me, probably, because this is a lot of pieces and it has not gone as just easy as I thought it would. It's gonna be really close to get to that 3-day deadline, but I know we can do it. Just gotta put these finishing touches on it, make some legs, and we're good to go. The main thing is this saw has a little bit of wiggle, right? And so I just gotta be really consistent on my pull. Why are you over there, Jeremy? Does it look scary? And so now I just gotta cut it that way. Good, straight up and down. Leg 1! So what we're gonna do with these waterfall legs is, in order to like glue them up properly, it's kind of a weird clamping area. I don't have personally any corner clamps. And so what I did, I took a piece of plywood, cut it at a 45-degree angle. You just attach these. Some people use contact paper, some people use glue. I don't have time to waste, so I did a little bit of double-sided tape and a nail. Wherever these come together now, there's gonna be even clamping pressure from the middle of this 45 coming down through there into this 45. All I gotta do now is clean these edges up, give it a little bit of sander, rub it down with some Odie's oil, and then beat my dad. In that order. Oh, what are you doing here, Pops?
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Oh, I'm hurrying. Don't be rushing. Don't be rushing me. Yours is probably so much simpler than this one. Your old eyes couldn't handle this beauty right here. What you think of it so far? Decent?
Well, second place, not bad.
Well, you want to help me flip this thing real quick?
Yeah.
All right. You're so funny, Dad.
I know it.
Yeah, look, you.
Heavy, is it?
Open the open the door.
Oh, you want me to get the door? Let me get the door for you, buddy. First place.
First place. Mine's a little heavier. Not in a good way, just saying it's heavier. They both fit underneath the table. Yes. You know, Pops, what I like about yours is it's simple and it doesn't look like it took forever. Like you probably had a lot easier. What did yours take? Only 2 days, right?
That's all it was supposed to take, 2 days.
Yeah, well mine took all of 3 days. It was
I can
pretty
see
awful.
why, all the little triangles you put
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
You got a gazillion.
Yeah, 562.
Grandma would be proud. She likes that when you do good work like that. She
Yeah.
would be so happy.
What?
But second place is not bad either.
Definitely think you'll get second, I'll get first. But
In your dreams. Remember to comment below. Tell us who you think won.
let us know in the comments below. Remember, the loser has to wear a chicken hat on the next build. I hope it is not me. We'll have another build battle between me and my dad. And if you like these types of things, let us know in the comments section as well. Well, Pops, that was fun.
And it was real.
But it wasn't real fun.
No, you did a good job, Ryan. I think, like I said, Grandma would be proud.
Yep. I like yours too, Pops.
Yeah. Well, you're still learning.
Yep, still learning.